Let us consider the installation of the Maytoni magnetic busbar in a built-in way with 1 and 2 slabs of gypsum plasterboard. In picture 1 you can see the installation using 1 slab of gypsum plasterboard. To do this, we need to install a ceiling profile on the ceiling using suspensions, fix the Maytoni magnetic busbar on it and cover it with a gypsum plasterboard slab. Then we make the finishing. In cases with 2 gypsum plasterboard slabs, first we install the first 12 mm gypsum plasterboard slab, then we install the profile and cover the profile with the second gypsum plasterboard slabs. All this is fixed with screws to the ceiling profile. This scheme is the best as it is more durable, and it is less likely that during operation there will be cracks at the junction of the busbar and gypsum plasterboard. Let us consider 2 ways to install Maytoni built-in magnetic busbar with 1 and 2 gypsum plasterboard slabs. To install with 1 gypsum plasterboard slab, we need to install a ceiling profile on the ceiling using hangers. Then insert the wire that we will use for power supply into the busbar. Install the busbar using self-tapping screws on the ceiling profile, and then install a 12 mm gypsum plasterboard slab over the profile. Then we make the finishing. The built-in busbar with 2 gypsum plasterboard slab is installed in a similar way. The only difference is that first we need to install a gypsum plasterboard slab on the ceiling profile. Then we install the built-in magnetic busbar on top of it, and cover it with another 12 mm gypsum plasterboard slab. Then we make the finishing. To surface mount the busbar, we need to place the clamps for surface mounting in the intended installation location. Then we insert the power cable into the busbar, place the busbar against the clamps for surface mounting, and turn the levers. After that, the busbar is secured. To mount the surface-mounted busbar, we need to use rope hangers. We assemble the rope hanger, insert it into a special groove located on the rear of the busbar, after which we fix the mating part of the rope on the ceiling, insert the cable itself into it. Adjust the height, insert the power cable into the busbar, close the busbar on both sides with plugs. The installation is complete. So, let's take a look at the diagram of built-in and surface-mounted magnetic busbar installation and those components that we need. In this picture, you can see a diagram of a built-in surface-mounted busbar. In each separate section of the busbar, we need a power lead-in. Using the power lead-in, we supply power to the conductors of this busbar. You can see it in the diagram here. We also need to start and end each section of the busbar with end caps on both sides. To connect 2 straight sections of the busbar, as you see here in the diagram, we use 2 connectors. The first one is the connector that connects the busbar itself, the aluminum profile itself. The second connector is a direct power connector. The direct power connector connects the conductors in sections 1 and 2 of the busbar. So let's start with the built-in magnetic busbar diagram. The first thing I would like to start with is that in each section we must have its own power lead-in through which we will supply power to the busbar. Also, each section begins and ends with an end cap. Next, I would like to look at methods of busbar connection. We have several of them for this option. The first one is a direct connection. For a direct connection, we need a direct connector and a direct power connector. The direct connector connects the aluminum profile directly. The direct power connector connects live conductors in the first and second segments. To connect the busbar at right angles on the plane, we need an angled connector and an angled power connector. With the angled connector we, again, connect the busbar itself. With the power angled connector we connect the power and live conductors in these busbars. To connect the busbar, for example, passing from the ceiling to the wall, we need to use an internal connector and an angled power connector. With the internal connector we connect the busbar itself. We use the power connector to connect the power. As many of you have already noticed, we always use 2 connectors each. This is a rule of thumb. We always need to connect both the busbar itself and the power in that busbar. Next, we have one more connector type. This is an external angled connector, if our busbar is turned round the corner. We also use the external angled connector and the angled power connector here. On this slide, you can see the delivery set of the built-in magnetic busbar. This is the busbar itself, 1.2 m long, a direct connector, an angled connector, an internal and external angled connector. There is also a decorative overlay. Let's look at the diagram of surface-mounted magnetic busbar. To fix it, we need a clamp for surface mounting. We place this clamp along the entire length of the busbar. After we have assembled the entire system, we apply them to these clamps, turn the levers on them, and the busbar is fixed. Now let's look at the components that we will use for the surface-mounted magnetic busbar. Also, like the built-in one, each section of the magnetic busbar must begin and end with an end cap. In each busbar section we must have its own power lead-in. Next, let's move on to connectors. To connect two straight busbar sections we need a direct connector and a direct power connector. The direct connectors here are different from the built-in magnetic busbar. We use the same direct power connector. To rotate another 90 degrees on the plane, as you can see in the diagram, we use an angled connector and an angled power connector. To turn from the ceiling to the wall and vice versa, we use an internal angled connector and an angled power connector. All connectors that connect the busbar itself are different from those that we use for the built-in magnetic busbar. We use the same power connectors. Let's take a look at the components of the surface-mounted magnetic busbar. This is the busbar itself, 1.2 meters long, a direct connector, an angled connector, an internal angled connector and a rope clamp. The rope clamp is supplied separately as it can be used not only with a rope, but also with a rigid locking element. For suspended mounting, we use a rope hanger, and you can also use a decorative plug. The decorative plug is universal. It can be used for both built-in and surface-mounted busbar. You can also see the power lead-in and power connectors here. These are universal and are used for both built-in and surface-mounted busbars. So, now you need to cut the magnetic busbar. First, cutting is done at a 90 degrees angle using professional equipment such as a miter saw. After we have carried out the cutting according to the design size, we need to tame the conductors and crimp them into the guides. This is necessary so that the current-carrying conductors do not touch each other and the power is connected precisely by the power connector. This is necessary to exclude sparks from contact of conductors.